Okay, we're going to start. This is section 5.3 in our big ideas text. Again, we're starting our new textbook. Took a little bit to get going on 5.1 and 5.2 because there's lots of different concepts in here. This one's going to be kind of nice. This one is a graphing one. So I'm just going to put big ideas 5.3. And this is, so we're going to graph square roots and cube roots. And what I'm going to do on this sheet of paper that you see here is that I'm going to put square roots on this side, and then I'm going to get another piece of paper and we're going to do square roots on the other side, okay? To put those two together. Okay, so as before, I'm going to use lots of colors and try to help you out here. But we want to talk about square roots. We want to look at the parent function. Okay, so the parent function is like the stripped down version of what this looks like. So it is f of x, and it is the square root of x. Okay, and we're also going to be talking a lot about domain and range. So with our parent function, our domain will always be x's greater than or equal to 0, and our range will be y is greater than or equal to 0. And as with all parent functions, you know, I like to give you kind of an idea. So this is the set of points that I use pretty much every time. And then after this, I'm going to translate stuff, okay? Here's my x and here's my y value. And again, I'm going to write this down here. F of x equals the square root of x. Okay, so what values for x could I take square roots of really, really easily? Well, I could definitely do 0. And the square root of 0 is 0. And how about 1? The square root of 1 is 1. And the square root, now I could do the square root of 2, but the square root of 2 is not nice. But what about the square root of 4? Ooh, the square root of 4 is 2. Now, in this case, because of this, I'm just going to do a 2. Okay, I'm not going to do the negative 2. Okay, so here's what this graph looks like. So we're at 0, 0. We're at 1, 1. Then we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2. And here's what this looks like. It is, I like to call it a swoopy. It's a swoopy. Okay. So when we're looking at domain and range, okay, when we're looking at domain, I'm really looking at where's my start and where am I going? Okay, so notice I'm at 0 and I'm greater than 0. For my range, it's just the opposite, okay? So I'm looking at where's my start and I'm above, okay? So really past that, that's as easy as it gets, okay? It really doesn't get more complicated. And I use these points every time, and then I translate from there. Because the translation piece, of course, is going to be talking about things happening inside. So I'm going to put a little star here and put translating. Okay, and the translating piece is going to look like this. Okay, where if you stop and look at this for a second, what happens when I usually put something on the outside of a parenthesis? Made it negative. And so do you remember from whether our parabola pointed up or pointed down? That's exactly what we're talking about here, okay? The H and the K, the H is talking about the horizontal change. and the K is talking about the vertical change, okay? A will make it positive or negative, and don't forget that a value up here can change the slope. Now, when I talk about the slope, am I talking about affecting the X or the Y? Well, I'm talking about, it's not this way, it's this way. So it would be the Y value. Let me share my screen again. Okay. All right, so I'll give you a set of steps. Step 1, you'll want to take care of the slope, okay? And when I take care of the slope, you're going to multiply your Y values. Once you do that, then you take care of the translation. Notice it's always opposite, and your vertical is what you see is what you get. All right, well, we might as well just jump right in. Okay, here we go. First of all, we have a vertical stretch. So this is a vertical stretch. This means it's going to be a little bit taller than what we had up here. All right, what is this? This is 1. Now it's negative, so think opposite. This is 1 to the right and 2 right, 2 up. Okay? So you can do this a variety of ways. This is what I like to do. Okay? So I like to go back and I'm like, all right, I use 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, and 2. That was with my parent function, right? Okay. And now I want to take all of my Y values and multiply by 3. So this would still be 0. This would be 3, and 3 times 2 is 6. And then I like to go back and I like to either color so that I'm paying attention to my new X and Y terms. Okay. So this is what I prefer to do. If you have a different way that you'd like to try, you can do that too as well. I like to, in pencil, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to take these points and I'm going to move them all 1 to the right and 2 up. And when I do that, I'm going to use my pen now. 1 to the right, 2 up. 1 to the right, 2 up. 1 to the right, 2 up. And there's my new graph. Okay, so I like to graph my points and then I translate. Okay, makes it a little bit easier if I do it in pencil. It's not a big deal. I can go back and erase if I want. Okay, let's look at domain and range. All right, domain. Where do I start? Oh, whoops. Domain, I'm sorry, domain. Where do I start? Well, it looks like I start at 1. And I start at 1 and I go to the right. So how do I want X is greater than or equal to 1? Okay. Range. Where do I start? Oh, I start at 2. And it looks like I'm 2 and above. So Y is greater than or equal to 2. And you might notice that whatever you translate, it's going to be your new domain and range. So you can almost come up with domain and range before you even get started. All right, shall we try another one? Let's do another one, and let's make sure we do a negative. So let's do negative half. And let's do a change here and there. Okay? Now, do you remember what a negative usually does to stuff? You're right. It flips it. So it takes it and flips it down. Again, what points am I using? 0, 0. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 4 is 2. Go back to your original parent function. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by negative half. Just the y values. So this is 0, negative 1/2, and negative 1. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take those points and I'm going to sketch them on here. 0, 0, 1, negative half, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. Wow, that's really small. So now I've flipped it, and now I've also made it skinnier. Okay, go ahead and let's translate. Ooh, this is a positive, but think opposite. So that's 3 to the left, and what you see is what you get. So this is 2, 2 down. So here we go, 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 2 down. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2. Okay. Wait, ugh. It wasn't such a good line, was it? It made it a little bit skinnier. Okay. Sad face. Okay. Where's my domain starting? Well, I'm starting at 1, 2, negative 3, and I'm to the right. So x is everything negative 3 and greater. All right, range. All right, so where am I starting here? Now this is going to be kind of interesting. So I'm going to go all the way across here. So 1, 2, I'm in a negative 2, but notice I'm negative 2 and below. So how can I write, I want everything below negative 2? We need to go the opposite way, okay? We need to go the opposite way. Questions on that? Okay, so new side. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, you've got your paper. So this side, the parent function is not square root. Now we want to do parent function cube root. All right, here we go. F of x is equal to the cube root of x, not x to the third, but the cube root of x. All right, so as far as points, okay, you know me so well. If you plug in the cube root of 0, you get 0. And you know me so well, if the cube root of 1 is 1. The other one I like to use on this, so I don't like to use 4 because 4 doesn't have a cube root. I like to use negative 1, and that's the weird part. So the cube root of a negative 1 is negative 1. Okay, so as far as your points here, they go like this, but do not make a line. That's not what this is. So it's kind of weird. So you have to, it's a curve, but it curves up and like this. So it's a snake. Okay. Are you ready for my favorite part? Domain and range. There's no stipulations. So all real. So one of my students from last year, AJ, would go, all real. And that's what it is. It's like that every time. It doesn't matter if you translate it. It is all real every single time. Okay, so I don't even have to measure because it goes continuous up this way, and it doesn't matter because it will continue to climb, maybe not very much, but it has no boundaries. That's as easy as it gets. Now, can I go ahead and do the same thing as far as the translation piece? Yeah, it's the same thing. And we're going to use the same pattern. So y equals, or f of x equals a cube root of x minus h plus k. So again, a is your slope. You know, it's the same thing. Okay, so we're going to use the same methods to our stuff. So here we go. F of x equals, I'm going to start out with an easy. I'm going to do 2 cube root of x minus 2 minus 2. Okay, same thing. X, y, and my new points I use because of its cube root, -1, 0, and 1. Okay? And I want to take and do that vertical stretch first. So I'm going to multiply my y values by 2. Well, 2 times the -1 is -2. 2 times 0 is 0, and 2 times 1 is 2. So I just stretched them a little bit. These are my x's. Notice my x's don't change, but my y's changed. All right, I'm going to use my pencil again. So I'm going to go -1, -2, 0, 0. So this is easy to graph. And then I'm going to shift it. Okay, so think opposite. This is 2 to the right. And what you see is what you get. 2 down. All right, 2 to the right. 1, 2, 2 down. 1, 2. To the right. 1, 2, 2 down. To the right. 2 to the right. 2 down. Okay, now be careful how I always draw from left to right. So I'm coming along. I'm a snake. Here I come. Up like this. Done. Wasn't that nice? Okay. Domain, range, all real values. Okay. Every single time. Okay. Let's do another one. But yes, let's flip it. So let's do -1/2 x plus 1 plus 3 over there. All right, what are my points? -1, 0, and 1, -1, 0, and 1. All right, I want to multiply by -1/2. So what do you think is going to happen to this graph? You're right, it's going to flip, okay? It's going to flip. So this becomes 1/2, 0, and -1/2, because 1 times -1/2 is -1/2. All right, I'm going to take my pencil. -1 positive half, 0, 0, and 1 -1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to take those points, think opposite, 1 to the left and 3 up. All right, 1 to the left and 3 up. 1, 2, 3. And 1 to the left, 1, 2, 3. And 1 to the left and 1, 2, 3. Okay, kind of weird. Again, start from the left and I have to come down this time. There we go. All right, domain and range, all real. All day, every day. Okay? And that's it. That's how to do cube roots and square roots. I know, right? Super easy. So remember, we've used the same methods to our madness. We've been doing translating now. We did it with parabolas and absolute values. You can totally do this. Okay? All right, have fun and practice.